Another scandal is rocking the Vatican. Two members of a financial reforms commission set up by the Pope have been arrested under suspicion of leaking confidential documents. This incident is already being called the biggest scandal since the VatiLeaks outrage that eventually contributed to Pope Benedict's resignation in 2013. Candida Moss is here. She's a professor of theology at Notre Dame University. Hey, Candida.
Hi.
Good to see you again.
Great to be back.
So tell me, what happened exactly?
Well, what happened is that two people who were appointed to Pope Francis's Pontifical Commission reviewing economic corruption and financial affairs have leaked documents to journalists about what happened during that commission. And that's problematic because Pope Francis was trying to turn over a new leaf, and now we have two blockbuster books talking about church corruption that are going to be citing these documents from Pope Francis's tenure.
So the Vatican has called the leaks a serious betrayal of the trust bestowed on the Pope. What else have we heard from the Vatican?
What we've heard from the Vatican is that they don't see this as something well-intentioned. This is not as in the VatiLeaks case. This is not the case that they released these documents because they thought that they were helping Pope Francis. And the Vatican is clearly stating that they see this as something that's an attack on Pope Francis. This is not trying to benefit the church more broadly by opening up church practices to the world.
But, you know, I guess a lot of people might sort of look at this situation and think to themselves, look, for an organization that is trying to clean up the corruption and serious allegations, for example, the child sex abuse scandal, that trying to go after some whistleblowers is really probably not the way to go. Doesn't it look like, or doesn't it appear that the Vatican could suffer some blowback for this?
Yes, I think you're exactly right. This is about controlling PR, but it's going to have the reverse effect. The Vatican may have the legal high ground, but it's going to look like they're silencing whistleblowers, and they're actually going to imprison people who are trying to expose the corruption in the church, rather than going after those people who were themselves corrupt. And that doesn't look good. It looks like more of the same.
So what do we know about these two folks, the member of the Curia and a laywoman? There were some kind of racy pictures of her back in 2013 that surfaced on the internet, but that's all I think most people, if they're following the story at all, know about her. What do we know about the two?
Well, we know that the cleric is a monsignor, which means that he's a confessor to the Pope, and he was very high up in the commission. He served as the secretary. As for the laywoman, she has posted in the past criticisms of the Vatican on Twitter, and there were some fairly racy, although artistic, photographs of her out there.
I like that. Racy but artistic, yes.
Yeah, she's only 33, and so the fact that she has been portrayed this way as sort of a little bit scandalous does mean that this is going to be eaten up by the Italian media, and this is going to be a major news story.
So how is it connected to these two books that are coming out that are threatening or that will expose some of the inner workings of the Vatican?
Well, we don't really know exactly what was in the documents, but the titles of these books give us some clues. So they're called Avarice, and they're called Merchants in the Temple, which is a reference to Jesus overturning corruption. So these books are about corruption in the church, and they're written by Italian journalists who have a reputation for exposing corruption in the church. One of them was very key in the VatiLeaks affair. So the fact that they have released these documents and that they are part of these books focusing on financial corruption tells us that this is a big deal and that we're going to be hearing a lot about financial corruption in the church.
Candida Moss, always great to have you. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me.